Well, good afternoon. My name is Norb Kaminsky, and I wanted to welcome you to the Center for Research on Ingredient Safety's annual symposium. For those of you that may not be familiar with CRIS, let me just tell you a little bit about the center. CRIS is an academic center, which is really a partnership between academia, the private sector, the government, as well as non-government organizations. And it's focused on chemical-based ingredient safety in consumer products. And specifically, we focus on consumer products in the areas of food, beverages, and personal care products. MSU established CRIS to serve as a hub for objective science that adds rigor and data to highly visible discourse on consumer products and ingredient safety. CRIS really works in three areas. We provide bench research, we do risk communication to the public, and we do graduate education. As part of the CRIS annual meeting, we organize a symposium that is focused around a central theme each year. And this year's symposium theme is on science communication. We have an outstanding slate of speakers for you this afternoon, and so we're really very excited to hear from them. And we really have a range of where they're from that really spans from traditional print news media to social media and even academia. And so with that very brief introduction, I'd like to turn this over now to Elizabeth Anderson, who is the Director of Science Communication for CRIS, and she'll introduce the session and our speakers for this year.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaminsky. So, hello and welcome. I am excited to jump right into this session. So this year, we're doing things a little differently. We've asked experts to help us dig into ideas on how we can communicate the safety of chemical ingredients more effectively today, while also building the systems and trust that will sustain community confidence tomorrow. That's a lot. So at its core, we know that we're not simply talking about science. You know, I really wish that I could take a fact sheet and just kind of like wave it in front of people and say, okay, trust us, we know this, we looked in this, trust us, we're the experts. And that's just not how it works. That's not how trust works. People are not so easily swayed by facts. Our choices are influenced by our community, by our perceptions, our values, and some really darn good storytelling, depending on who's telling the stories. And there's so much more to that. That's just very high level. So when it comes to the public's understanding of what is chemical ingredient safety, we know it's often shaped by cultural narratives, it's shaped by media framing, and by the viral spread of misinformation, which I'm certain we've all seen on TikTok and on Reddit and all of the places where we get some of our little kind of brain rot from. I love the brain rot, it's fun. And words like synthetic and toxic are emotionally loaded, and they are used frequently across all of these platforms and across all of these different areas where we are consuming information. So fear is traveling a heck of a lot faster than facts are in these places, as we have seen play out in front of us. At the same time, trends such as clean eating and then really fantastic wellness branding and click-driven journalism, unfortunately, have amplified confusion, and they also create a perfectly fertile ground for what we're experiencing today, which is a lot of confusion and a lot of chaos and a lot of misunderstanding and distrust in some really excellent science. So what are we going to do about it? So we're here because we recognize that the challenge is not only scientific, but it's social. And we want to achieve two things: clarity in the present by equipping scientists, communicators, educators, journalists with the tools to explain risk, safety, and context in ways that are transparent but not overwhelming. Please, not overwhelming. We try really hard to keep it simple. As well as resilience for the future by designing communication systems and building partnerships in community structures that can anticipate misinformation, foster trust, and respond more quickly and effectively when falsehoods spread, and better yet, how we can get ahead of the misinformation to help us prevent it from infiltrating every aspect of our society. Best of luck to us. We also know that the influences contributing to this problem are powerful. You know, we have fragmented media, declining institutional trust, and the speed of social media and social platforms, it's mind-boggling. As well as the growing role of our own personal values and our identity in shaping how people interpret evidence and what they view as being good evidence and what they view as being trustworthy. So those same forces also point us to potential solutions. So communities, whether they're professional networks of nutritionists and toxicologists and journalists, or grassroots science communicators, collectively we can work together to create consistent, credible, and human-centered messaging. And by working together across disciplines, we can build a shared language that can resonate with diverse audiences and strengthen our connections between science and society. So this session brings together those folks, experts in nutrition, toxicology, journalism, public health, and influencer spaces, as of course science communication spaces, and education to help explore these questions and what we can do. So each of our speakers will bring their perspective to help us explore these ideas from their unique expertise. So ultimately, our goal is not just to learn from one another, but to imagine a future where ingredient safety is communicated with both scientific rigor and with public trust at its core.